Welcome everyone to week 6. Week 6 is a fantastic week because we get to jump into legal structure. Now, for some of you, that may incite yawns and a sudden case of sleepiness. For others, it will be thrilling. I'm on the thrilling side of that, and I will do my best to convey how exciting this can be. Although legal structure and licenses and taxes are topics that not every business owner loves, and that is definitely understandable. So let's jump into the legal structure of your business. And I want to start out with a quick reminder. Project 2 is due this week. If for some reason you have not started on that, please start right away. As again, I say again, I think I've said this a couple times. I hope I have. But Project 2 is a little bit more involved than some of our other projects. So Project 1 and 2 require a bit more time. So legal structure, we have this disclaimer up here. The course does not provide legal advice. If you'd like legal advice, then it is your responsibility to discuss with an attorney. We hope that the course is fairly simple and straightforward. The businesses you're starting are simple and straightforward. And so I hope it doesn't give rise to any truly complex and urgent legal questions, but there's always that important disclaimer. So the instructions here are to research and describe legal structures and choose one and describe why. So really, our second point here just describes in summary your assignment. In your location, which structure would be best, why, and how would you set it up. There are some helpful resources for both inside and outside the United States. I will walk through this legal business structure that applies to the United States. I do that because I have found that there are typically similar business structures outside the United States. It may be referred to a little differently. You'll need to do some research on comparable structures, but they're fairly consistent. All the names differ slightly, but the principles are still there. And so that's why I go over this. Although we have many students here in this course that are not living stateside, the general structures here give you a good foundation when you're researching structures outside of the U.S. That is one of my favorite parts of the class. Having been through law school, I have a good grasp on U.S. legal business structures, but I'm certainly fascinated by the international legal structures. So this webpage is just this link here, hg.org, and it's going to give you a summary of different structures. I'm not going to hit on all of these. I'm going to talk through the most common structures that you'll find on here. And we'll start with sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is where you start a company on your own. You are the owner. You get to make all the decisions as is indicated by a sole proprietorship. You are the decision maker. With these first 3 types of business structures I will go through, the main difference is the legal protection it affords the owner. And in a sole proprietorship, you have the advantage of making all the decisions from now and through until the business ends. You make all the decisions, and there's simplicity to it. There's not a ton you need to do in a lot of states to set up a sole proprietorship. The disadvantage to a sole proprietorship, the main one that jumps out, is that if someone sues the company, the owner's personal assets are at risk. And that's why people go away from sole proprietorships, because in case there's a lawsuit, they want a little bit more protection. But you do have ultimate control over the business in a sole proprietorship. A partnership is very much the same as a sole proprietorship. It's just that there's 2 or more people. And so you can decide how that's divided up, who makes the decision. Very flexible business model. Business partnership, again, doesn't require a whole lot to establish a partnership. There's a lot of fascinating law and precedents around this, but really the sort of what they call napkin design business, right, where you and your partner are sketching out some ideas on a napkin over lunch, that can oftentimes be enough to start a business partnership. So a lot of advantages. You and your partners have full control of the business. It does have that same caveat as the sole proprietorship, where the business partner's personal assets are at risk if the company is sued. C and S corporations I will not go into. Those are a little bit more complex. There are tax advantages to the C and the S corp, but I will not detail those here. You are certainly able to choose a C or an S corp. Limited liability company is probably the most common business model. It combines control of the business, especially when you first start out, with some protection to the owner. And so when they say limited liability, that's the implication of that is that the liability of the owner is limited. So if someone is going to sue the company, they're going after the company's assets, not the owner's. And so you've got some personal protection built in there. The flip side is that as the company grows, you lose some control. There is a board of directors that must be formed as the company grows to a certain size, and they will have some control over that company. So you give up a little bit of that control as you gain some protection. For very small companies and startups, LLCs, as these are more commonly known, are very, very common. And then finally, nonprofit corporations. If you'd like to do a nonprofit, you certainly can. The idea behind a nonprofit is that instead of taking profits for yourself or for shareholders, a nonprofit will invest those profits back into the company. Don't be fooled. Nonprofits are not about avoiding profits or not earning profits. It's just that they do something different with those profits. There are a lot of tax benefits to a nonprofit corporation because it's assumed that you are doing good in the community, and so there are many tax benefits, and that's why this is a popular model. However, I will caution you that there are many regulations around nonprofits, and so they take a little bit more time to start up. You have to show the good that you are doing in the community, and so there are a lot more boxes to check if you are going to start a nonprofit corporation. And that's it. Again, there are many other aspects or how would I put it? Legal structures that we won't get into in this course. I wanted to walk you through the basics that you can choose from. I hope these are applicable from an international standpoint as you research different legal options outside of the U.S. But those are your legal options, and that'll set you up for your essay. Our next topic is very similar. So licenses and taxes will need you'll need a good understanding of those as a business owner. Now, unlike legal structure that is applicable in any state in the U.S., the licenses and taxes are very specific to state, city, county, domicile, territory, wherever you live around the world. Those licenses and taxes are going to be very applicable for that area. So you will need for this to do your own research wherever you live, wherever your business will reside. You will need to look into similar to when you decide on a business structure, you have to look at how to start it up in your specific locale. You need to do the same thing with licenses and taxes. So there are any government website will typically give you this information, and you'll need to make sure you note that in your essay. And so you'll walk through these different components in your essay, and I'll note this third one where it says provide references, usually URLs. Not always. And if you really can't find what you're looking for online, I will tell you that typically governments want your business because they earn additional tax revenue. So they have structures set up to answer these questions easily. If you can't find something online, call your local government and again, typically they are welcoming to this. They have someone readily available to answer questions and can guide you through the process. So I won't be able to teach you as much about individual licenses and tax requirements because they vary so much from locale to locale. But that will be your assignments this week. You'll turn in your project 2, and then you'll have your weekly reflection, and that will be it. So good luck, and I hope everyone has a wonderful legal week. If you have questions about these assignments, please let me know. Thanks, everyone.